So it's that time of day when the lights go down and other things come up.
That sounds hot.
Sounds what? Sounds fun? Could be. Could be fun. So, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm not going to tell you my name, but yes, it's me. I'm back.
The
Ready to have
sex
some
goddess
fun.
reborn.
Every day. What do you want to talk about? Everybody's done. Everybody's walking around figuring out what they're going to do for dinner. And things are smelling really good.
I think there's hot dogs
Close your
outside of our
legs.
car.
That's
Oh,
what that is.
bitch. It's because my legs are so long, they don't fit under my steering wheel,
I love
okay?
it. That's
I can't close my legs
I
in
was
my
teasing.
car.
I wasn't even looking. I just figured they were open. I just figured they were open.
You know you're spending too
my
much
psychic
time
skills.
together when...
It's my psychic skills. I can't help it. You know. It's
Yep.
a good thing to have.
Do you think you had psychic abilities as Marilyn?
Yes, I do. I think I had some, not only psychic abilities, because, you know, in energy, in acting, you're so in tune with watching energy and studying energy. The other day I'm walking into my house. Next door to me, there's a brilliant actor who is an assistant for, this is an interesting story. So he's an assistant for a very largely known acting coach in Hollywood. This person moved into my next door neighbor's house, who was one of my, or is one of my students and close confidants, and is also part of this project. Woo! We won't say exactly who her name is at the moment, but you'll see her later in some other episodes and stuff. But she's part of this project. She's born on the exact day of my last incarnation. So she lived next door to me, and now occupying her zone is this amazing acting coach and this brilliant actor who's his assistant. Okay. Now we're clear on that. So
Got
he's
it.
over at my place. I walk in, I come to dinner at my house, and he's in the midst of talking about method acting and all the details that I don't know personally about in this life, because I have not studied it in this life. But here's someone apparently at my table saying, "Can you repeat one more time what exactly it was that you were discussing on the method acting?" And then he says to me, "Hey," and he says, "Yeah, well, the most important thing about method acting, or what makes it so different from so many other things, is that it is utilizing these tools for past recall." Past recall. I wonder, isn't that what I'm using? Isn't it past recall? Isn't that the same technique in so many words or so many ways? Don't you think it is? Because I know it is, because it's the same technique that we use for exercises in the world of mystics and so on and so forth. So
That's amazing.
it's fun.
Now, has he looked at you differently?
Yes. Like, oh, why are you? I won't even ask. Kind of like, yeah. Well, I'm working on a documentary. That's awesome. Thank you so much for your information. And if he watches this at some point, and I don't want him to
It'll
blush
all make
or
sense.
anything. I don't want him to blush. He's such a doll, such a sweetheart. But yes, when people have an idea or a sense, I don't know, it's like a psychic connection sometimes going off in people's heads on their own with things that, I don't know, if they're affiliated with something or somebody says something or sparks something, they definitely look at me differently. Again, this is not something that I've tried to inspire in people. This is something that's followed me my whole life in various forms. And when it does, people, well, you know, people kind of stare anyway, or they do, there's just like a thing that people do, but there's something more like going on behind their stare at that point. So I don't want to make him blush if he comes across this or anything like that, but he just definitely looks at me trippier. In that exact moment, it was more like.
Well, it's not like you look anything like Marilyn or anything. So.
Not at all. I've always tried so hard not to.
Not at all.
No, I'm just natural these days. You know, I'm just really in my flow, and I've not tried to go out of the way to put so many things to cover up. And my mother had made a point of this once a long while ago, and she said to me, you know, you have the same charisma and the same radiance as Marilyn. I was about 15 or 16. She says, why do you cover it up? It's like the more that somebody tells you something like that, the more you go out of your way to destroy it. And even in like 10, 11 years old, I would be the crumbly witch. I wanted to be really wicked, scary witch, you know, for Halloween or whatever. And my mother would say, "What? See, here you are." She'd start back then is when it all kind of started. She'd say, "You always want to cover up the truth when somebody's complimenting how." And I thought, that's really weird. I never thought that was weird then. I was putting this all together as my life carried on and things started really making sense. I had to really sit there. It's taken years with my own research and getting to the bottom of so many things that make up my psyche and my emotional complexities.
Do you think that's because your last life was so public that you were trying to just hide and not be noticed?
I've had so many people tell me that I try to hide, and that when I'm not trying to hide, I light the world up, which is such a beautiful thing to say to somebody. It really is.
Gorgeous.
Hmm?
It really is beautiful.
It really is. It really is. And but I've gone out of my way to hide. Yes, I've gone out. I wear tons of black. I wear, you know, heavy shades all the time. And I get annoyed when people stare. I get annoyed when people are throwing sexual energy. Isn't this interesting? And like.
And you remain unapproachable a lot of times.
I do. In fact, that's how you met me.
Yes, it took me quite a while to slowly approach you and get to know who you really were.
Many still don't.
And I still don't know the half of it.
Just when you think you know me, I'm somebody else. No, but it's always been like that. Yeah, so I'm protecting, you know, something. I'm defensive, like, naturally. I don't trust people. Okay, these are all qualities that I just did not make up one day. These were qualities that were mine at such an early age that there was no time to even have had those experiences yet to create that. So these come with you, people. They come with you. Your feelings that you have toward other people, things you have toward work ethics, things you have toward... And another thing is I'm extremely driven, right? I'm like an extreme workaholic type person, constantly putting stuff together. Half the stuff, quarter of the stuff, isn't anything you'll see yet. It's all stuff that's been prepared for reaching out at one pinnacle together later as one big piece, masterpiece. I don't ever do things in a small way. Never have.